Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you may be listening from. My name is Coach Mo, and I welcome you to this amazing Zoom sessions whereby, okay, give me a second. All right, so we are going to be looking into the RQTMI Excel templates. This is the first thing you need to understand as a newbie. That is, if you are a newly activated member. Before getting into trading, you must understand how to set your boat with the right settings. And it depends on your capital. So whatever trading capital you have in your exchange is what you are going to be using with the Excel template to generate the settings to be used on your Royal Qboat. So please, it's very important you pay attention, listen attentively. If you have any question, write it down. When it's time for question, I'm going to allow you guys to ask a question. But first thing is to pay attention. I'll do my best to take this as slow as I can so that everybody here will be carried along. So let's proceed, please. The first thing you need to do is to install this app called WPS Office, because you need this to access the Excel template. So if you don't have this, please quickly have this installed on your phone. I already have this on my phone, so let me open this. Now, this is how the Excel template will look like when you open it with the WPS Office. And as you can see at the top left of my screen, we have what we call dashboard, and we have other sub menu. But let's take a look at what we have on the dashboard. This is the dashboard. And you see we have RQTMI Magic 1, RQTMI Magic 2, Magic 3, down to Magic 8. But what we need here are just 3 settings. Why? Because the settings is for the bull run. We are in the bull run, so we are only going to be making use of those 3 settings. Now, the 3 settings is Magic 1, Magic 3, and Magic 5. So that is what we are going to be making use of. But when you take a look at my right, you see, for the Magic 1, it says that it covers for 30% dip. Magic 3 covers for 25% dip. And Magic 5 covers for 50% dip. What does this mean? For the newbies who don't understand how crypto works, cryptocurrency is a very volatile asset. So for a price of a coin to go up, it has to go down before going up. Please have this at the back of your mind. Because of the special features that RioQ has, that is called the martingale strategy, it doesn't make use of all your capital to buy a coin. Remember, we are buying low to sell high. So because of these special features, and the robot knows that there's a high possibility of a price going down before going up, so it's used your capital in bits it uses from your trading capital in bits to buy margin calls on different price intervals. This is what I mean. Let's say for Magic One covers for 30% dip. When it buys with the first buy amount, let's say, for example, it uses $20 and you have a capital of $300. You know, after taking $20 from your $300, you are having left with $280. That $280 will be used to buy more units of the coin at a cheaper price. So by the time it is selling, it will sell at a higher price for profit, making you more money. So this 30% you see here, it means that by the time the price of that coin you are trading goes down to minus 30% in price, it must have used the whole of this $300 or the $280 left to buy that coin. Now the robot does nothing. It will patiently wait for the price to start to go back up, and then it begins to sell those positions that have been bought to make you profit. Simple. That is how this robot works. So by understanding this, you should know that you have nothing to worry about when your trades are running. The robot will never sell for you in a loss. The only thing you are going to experience is called floating loss. And floating loss is not a real loss. It is called unrealized profits. Robots will always wait, hold your positions until when it profits, it will start to sell. Please, do you understand what I mean by covers or 30% dip now? I want this session to be very interactive. So I would like to get a feedback from you guys. If it is well understood, let me see a 111 on the chat. If you understood what I've said so far, please let me see a 111 on the chat. I want to ensure everybody here is carried along. Okay, awesome. Let's proceed, please. So now that you understand what we mean by covers or 30% dip, it applies to the same Magic 3 and Magic 5. Now let's move on to Magic 1. I'll tap on Magic 1. It takes, you can see where it took me to. It has taken me to the Magic 1 settings. Now for the Magic 1 settings, there is a statement boldly written here, RQTMI Magic 1, minimum capital, $320. There is something I need to say before we proceed. I want everyone here to understand that every strategy works. Whichever team you belong, the strategy works. But you have to stick to a strategy, understand it, and you keep on using it. Don't jump from one strategy to the other. You get yourself confused. Stick to one strategy, understand it, follow simple instructions based on their strategy, and remain patient. Nothing is instant. Even instant noodles needs to be boiled first. So nothing is instant. Is a gradual process. The first thing is to understand the strategy, follow simple instructions, and remain patient. So now that you can see this boldly statement written here, it says that RQTMI Magic 1, minimum capital is $320. This means that if you want to use these settings, your trading capital must be above $320 or $320. Below $320, you cannot make use of these settings. That is what it means. So some people will have capital on their exchange, but they'll still be confused. Am I to use Magic 1 or Magic 3 or even Magic 5? Now, don't get yourself confused. I'm going to break everything down here. So let's say you have a capital of $1,200. You don't know which settings to make use of. It is very easy. But remember, we said if you want to use one shot strategy, we have two types of strategy. We have one shot. We have circle. One shot means a one-time trade. But what we're going to be talking about tonight is one shot. Why circle means autopilot. One shot meaning that once the robot sells the coin you're trading, it completely sells the coin you're trading, it leaves the market, it doesn't go back to buy. Circle means if you keep on buying, selling, your trades are on circle. It is on autopilot. And we have a different settings for that, and we have a recommended capital for that. But for one shot, minimum trading capital is $100 and above. So we are looking into what? One shot for these three settings: Magic 1, Magic 3, and Magic 5. And we said for one shot, minimum number of coins to trade is 3. Maximum number of coins to trade is 10. We are not saying you cannot trade one coin. You can, but if you have capital that can cover for 3 trades, trade 3 trades instead of putting all that capital on one trade. You understand as we proceed. So I said, let's make reference of $1,200. You have $1,200 in your exchange, and you don't know which settings to make use of, either Magic 1, Magic 3, or Magic 5. This is how we confirm. You go to your calculator. You go to your calculator, you say 1,200, let's say divide by 3. Divide by 3, you can see it gave me 400. This means that you can use 400 to trade 3 coins. That is what it means. So you knowing that you can use 400 to trade 3 coins, how much is Magic 1 settings minimum capital? You can see it is here boldly written 320. So this means that with your 400 per trade, you can trade with Magic 1 settings because it meets the condition of $320 and above. For those who can't see this, it is boldly written here. This is how you know you have to use Magic 1 settings. Because Magic 1 is better than Magic 3, and Magic 5 is better than Magic 1 and Magic 3. You will still understand as we proceed. But there is something we need to do. If you take a look at the remark, you see where we have remark? On the column there, you have 300. Before we slot in the $400 capital to generate the settings for us, you need to subtract first buy from the 400. And the first buy is 20. So meaning 400 minus 20 will give you 380. So let's edit this 300 to 380. Just tap on the 300 or the remark column, tap on edit, and you edit this to 380. And you tap on confirm. This is how you make use of Magic 1 settings. Whichever capital, if it's 350 you want to use for Magic 1, before you slot in this 350, you must subtract it from the first buy amount, which is 20. But we can still confirm if we are doing the right thing. How do we confirm? You scroll down and go to your margin configuration. See your margin configuration here. And then you check multiple buying ratio and check the total amount it shows here. Is it the exact capital you want to use, which is 400? If it's the exact capital, it shows that you are correct. And remember, it was supposed to be 400, which is 400. This is another way to verify if what you have done is correct. Somebody said the template doesn't allow him edit. It does, please. Ensure you are tapping on the right place, and which is the column in green color. That is where you tap, and you tap on edit to be able to edit it. Any other column you tap will not allow you. It is locked. King Tony, I hope you can hear me loud and clear. All right, so now that you can see, we have been able to add the capital to the template, it has automatically generated the settings for us. The next thing is to go to your RoyalQ app and save these settings in your RoyalQ template. RoyalQ has a template where you can save a strategy settings so that you don't always save settings each time you want to trade a coin. So it has been done in a way it will be very easy for everybody. You can reuse a settings over and over on any coin you want to trade. So let's move on to RoyalQ so that I'll show you how to save these settings. Now this is my RoyalQ. When you are on your RoyalQ, the first thing to do is to tap on mine. Mine is at the bottom right of my screen. You can see where you have mine. You tap on mine. Then you go down to my strategy settings. You can see where I have my strategy settings. You tap on it. If this is your first time, you might not see anything on your screen because it's blank. You are yet to save the settings. But in my case, I have some settings already saved there, but it's still fine. Next thing from here is to tap on the plus icon at the top right of your screen. When you check, you see the plus icon. It means to add a settings. Now let's tap on it to see what happens. You can see it just opened the same templates we have on the Add QTMI Excel sheet. The first thing here is risk type. And when we check the templates on the Excel, you can see the first thing here is what? Risk type, which says use radical. Radical means you want the robot to be very aggressive in buying and selling for you. So let's go back to RoyalQ and change steady to radical. How do I do that? You just tap on steady. You tap on this steady, the drop-down arrow, it will open up another small page. Then you select radical. You tap on radical and you tap on sure to confirm. Now, to the next is remark. On RoyalQ, please take note. On RoyalQ, the remark here says optional, meaning you can leave it blank. But in my case, I won't leave it blank. It means you can give these settings a name, a title. So you don't get yourself confused. Let's say you have more than one setting saved on your RoyalQ template. In this case, I will say $400. Capital. I can also add default, because this settings is for default, RQTMI default. We have the RQTMI default settings, and we have the RQTMI bool tactics category 1 and category 2, which I'm also going to talk more on that as we proceed. So we are looking into two types of settings, the RQTMI default settings and the RQTMI bool tactics category 1 and 2. The RQTMI default settings makes you money uptrend and downtrend. All right, now the next is first buy amount. First buy amount is the first amount the robot uses from your trading capital to buy the coin you are trading. And on the template, it says use $20. So you go back again, let's go back and edit this 15 to 20. Open position double, we don't make use of it. It multiplies your first buy amount. We don't need it. So it is turned off. On the Excel, you can see it says don't enable. AI margin, don't enable. So we are going to switch the two off. But by default, the open position double is already turned off. So the next thing we have to do here is to turn off the AI margin call. So to do that is to tap on it, it will switch off. You can see it has been switched off. The next is margin call limits. This is the number of times the robot will make use of your capital to buy the coin you're trading at different price interval, meaning buy your margin calls for you. For Magic Wand settings, it is 20 margin call limit, meaning it will buy 20 times. It will distribute your capital into 20 places and keep buying as the price keeps dropping at different price interval. So it is buying that coin cheaper prices at the cheaper prices for you and sell when the price starts to go up for profit. Let's go back and edit the 7 to 20. Hold position take profit ratio. What does this mean? You can see by default, it says 1.3%. But on the template, you can see it is 3% here. For those who can see it, 3%. That does not mean you cannot use 5%, you cannot use 10%. It all depends on you. If you're analyzing yourself, whatever you see on the chart is what you use, all depends on you. If you are trading signal, whatever the signal says you should use is what you should use. But why we put 3 here is just for default. You can edit this anytime you want to enter a trade, when you want to save the settings on the coin. But what does this hold position take profit ratio means? It means the final take profits before the robot will leave the market completely. That is what it means. And it is only for the first to the fourth margin call. Now, let me explain this very well. Let's go back to the template. Please pay attention here. When the robot buys the first buy amount and buys the first to the fourth call, it takes all the position, the first buy position, the first to the fourth call position as a single entity. That's why I wrote 1 there. Meaning that if it is selling those positions, it combines them together and sell. and leave the market. That is the final take profit. So if, assuming $200 was used on those positions to buy the first buy down to the fourth call, whatever your take profit is, the whole position take profit ratio is what it will give you when it sells. So if it is $200 that was used, 3%, let's say 3% was used for your whole position take profit ratio, it will give you 3% of $200. And that is $6 profit. Please, I hope I am still audible. Can you still hear me, please? Confirm if you can still hear me. Okay, thank you. Engineer, thank you.
We can hear you, sir.
All right, okay. Coach Well, thank you. Now, that is it for the whole position take profit ratio. It is the final take profit. And it only covers for the first buy amount, first to the fourth call positions. Let's go back to RoyalQ. Now we have what we call whole position take profit call back. On the Excel template, it says use 0.01%. I will explain why. But what does this mean? Cryptocurrencies are very volatile. It doesn't mean because we want to take profit at 3%, the price cannot shoot up to go beyond the 3%. Yes, it happens a lot. So what happens when the price shoots up and goes beyond the 3%? RoyalQ will not sell. The robot will not sell. The robot will be waiting for a pullback, for a callback, or for a retracement. So it is going to be holding on that position. So if it drops down by whatever was used on the whole position take profit callback, which in this case, it is 0.01%, meaning any slight drop, it will sell fast and take profit and leave the market, leaving you with more profit instead of the initial 3% that you were expecting. So you are making more money. You can see how powerful this robot is. This is something that you cannot do as a manual trader, never. If you are trading manually on an exchange, you can't do this. It is not possible. So anybody who uses this robot has more edge than those who trade manually on exchange accounts. So this is for the whole position take profit callback. Is this understood, please, before we proceed to the next? I want to ensure I take this slowly so that everybody here, including those newly activated members, will understand these settings and how these parameters works. Okay, let's move on. Now the next is margin configuration. Let's jump this. Let this be the last. Let's look into the buy-in callback. For the buy-in callback, on the template, it says use 0.01. For those who said, or who are saying, how did I get 0.01? It is on the template, please. You can see buy-in callback 0.01. Now, what does this mean? It is for buying those margin calls that will be used for the margin configuration. I'll talk about that when we get there. So it is for buying margin calls that will be used for margin configuration. Remember, I said margin calls are positions that will be bought at different price interval from your trading capital. So it will distribute your capital into 20 parts, which is the margin call limit. Now, before it buys the first call, the price needs to drop down by a certain percentage. Then when there's a pullback of 0.01%, it will trigger and buy the first call. Same thing happens to second call, same thing happens to third call, and so on and so forth. That is for the buying callback. Distributed take profit allocation. Let's open it and see. You can see what it have there. We can see 5th sub position, 6th sub position, down to the 20th sub position. And we have different take profit. But in this case, you can see we have to use 1.3% all through, because that is what the template says. There are different columns there to insert your take profit, but in this template, it says use 1.3% from the 5th to the 20th call. You can see it is boldly written there. This means that, let's go back to this distributed profit allocation. Remember I said the first buy, first to the 4th call are single entity. But from the 5th call, that is where it starts to make money for you downtrend. First buy, first to the 4th call is uptrend. But downtrend is from the 5th call downward. And each of them are single entity. They are all single entity, meaning that when the robot buys the 5th call with $10, it buys the 6th call at another price interval with $12, buys the 7th call with $8, buys the 8th call with $15. When the price starts to reverse back up, it will have to sell the 8th call first, give you your profits and your capital back in your exchange. And what is the profit percentage to give you? 1.3% of $15. It has sold it and returned back your capital and profit. It will move on to the 7th call. It will sell again, give you 1.3% of $8, return back the $8 and the profit made in your exchange, and move on to the 6th call. It repeats the same process. So there's a high possibility of the robot doing this on several occasions before it goes up to the final take profit. So you make some money downtrend before it will finally sell and leave the market completely. This is why we keep saying, as a manual trader, there is no way you can do this. If it's not RoyalQ, there is no way you can do this as a manual trader in any exchange. So meaning that you are making money uptrend and downtrend. So the distributed and take profit allocation is the take profit for that will be used for the 5th call down to the last call, which is 20th call for Magic 1 settings. Now let's move on to the next. Stop position take profit callback. You can see here is 0.3. That is the default. So we need to edit to what we have on the template, which is 0.01. But what does this mean? It is similar to this, the whole position take profit callback. This is for this, while this is for the distributed take profit allocation. Since you know that from the 5th call downward, when it is selling, whatever it sells, it will give you 1.3% profit. But what happens when the price go beyond the 1.3%? That is why you have sub position take profit callback. When there's a callback, retracement or pullback of 0.01% in the price, it will quickly sell and make you more money. That is when it goes above the 1.3%. So you are making more than the 1.3%. It happens a lot. So all depends on the market condition. That is what it means. We have strategy period. Remember I said we have circle, which is autopilot, and we have one shot, which is a one-time trade. These settings is for one shot. A lot of people forget to switch this from circle to one shot. All you just need to do is to tap on the circle, and if you change from circle to one shot, you can see. Just tap on it, it will switch from circle to one shot. Now let's move on to the final settings here, which is margin configuration. You see we have first call, second call, down to the 20th call, because the margin call limit is 20. And we have different percentage here by default. But we are to use what we have on the template. Now let's go back to the template and check. You can see on the template, the first call, 0.2%. This means that after the robot buys with the first buy amount, which is 20, and the price was supposed to go up, it didn't go up, it dropped down by minus 0.2%. It will trigger and buy the first call. But how much will they use to buy the first call from your $400 capital? Remember, the capital we're using for this example is $400. 0.4, that is where you have the multiple buying ratio. That's where it comes in. 0.4 multiplied by the first buy amount, which is 20. When we do the math, 0.4 multiplied by 20, you can see $8, meaning it will use $8 from that $400 again to buy the first call. When the price drops down again, instead of going up to 0.5%, which is minus 0.5%, it will trigger again and buy. This time around, it makes use of 1.5 of what? Multiplied by first buy amount, which is 1.5 multiplied by 20. Whatever it gives us is the capital that will be used, which is $30. This is what this robot does. So it distributes. So in your case, you don't need to calculate. These templates will do everything for you. Just ensure you know how to insert your capital on the REMA column and let the template do the calculation for you. So this is how this margin configuration works. And I always say this is the engine for your settings, because if you don't get this right, you are going to have problem with your settings on how it will distribute your capital. So you always ensure you get it right so that your settings will not be wrong. Now let's go back to the RoyoQ, and you just duplicate what we have on the template: 0.2, 0.5, 0.2. Just ensure whatever you have on this margin configuration is what you duplicate on your RoyoQ, and then you save. I don't have that time to do all this, but you already know what I am referring to. So let's assume we're done with this. Just tap on show. Then it is time to save. You save the set. Just tap on save. This is how you save your settings. Now let's move on to the Excel. I believe everybody understand how they can now use the RQTMI Magic 1 settings and save it on the ArroyoQ app. Please, I hope you all understand how you can save your settings, how you can generate the settings from the Excel sheet and save it in your ArroyoQ. Now let's move on to Magic 3. We are done with Magic 1. For Magic 3, I'll swipe. You can swipe at the top. You see where we have Magic 1? You can swipe to your left and to your right. So let me swipe to my left and open Magic 3. This is Magic 3. And on Magic 3, another statement is here. RQTMI Magic 3 minimum capital is $100. This means if your capital is below $100, you cannot make use of these settings. In fact, the RQTMI strategy minimum capital is $100 and above. If you have $100 capital, it means you can only make use of Magic 3 settings. But let's assume you have $600 capital and you don't know which settings to use. Remember, I said minimum number of coins is 3. Maximum number of coins is 10. So if you say 300 divided by 3, 600 divided by 3 is 200. So you can use 200 per trade. You can trade 3 coins at a time with 200 allocated on each trade or on each coin. But how do we get the settings from this Excel sheets? For Magic 3, you don't subtract when you are inserting the capital on the remark. Please take note. For Magic 3, you don't subtract anything. Just slot in your capital here on the remark. Unlike Magic 1, where you minus the first buy from the capital before you insert it on the remark column. In this case, you tap on remark, edit, and you change the 200 to the 100 to 200 and confirm. We can see confirm if we are correct. How do we do that? Go to margin configuration, multiple buying ratio, whatever we have here should be the capital, which is 200. So it shows that we are correct. Next thing to do from here is to go to your ArroyoQ and you save these settings how you see it here. Simple and clear. This is for Magic 3. Is it understood? Before we move on to the final setting, which is Magic 5. Please, I need a confirmation if this is well understood before we move on to Magic 5. I can only see one person who said yes. Please, I need more confirmation from you guys. Awesome. Let's proceed, please. Now the next is, which is the final, is going to be Magic 5. For Magic 5, another statement here, minimum capital is 520. This is the best settings, and you get to find out why I said it is the best settings. But remember, minimum capital is 520 and above. So let's assume you have $2,000 capital. Same thing you do. You see 2,000 divided by 3. That is 666. We can even say, if let's say you have $3,000 capital, divide by 3, that is 1,000. And if you say 4, how about 4? 4 can still go with 750, meaning you can trade 4 coins with your $3,000 capital. How about 5? Yes, 5 can still go with 600. Because remember, Magic 5 is 520 and above. So with your 3,000, you can even trade 5 coins, 600 per coin. So let's stick with this 600, trading 5 coins with 600 per coin. So let's move on to Magic 5. Magic 5 and Magic 1. It is the same process with Magic 1. Magic 5 and Magic 1 is the same process when you want to insert the capital on the remark. What did I say for Magic 1? You minus the first buy. Same thing is what you do on Magic 5. You minus the first buy. But Magic 3, you don't minus. Just insert the capital you want to use on the remark. So for Magic 5, 600 minus 20 will give us 580. So you go to the remark, edit, and you edit the 500 to 580. For us to be sure we are correct, go to the margin configuration. You can see what we have here is 600, meaning that we are correct. Now let's move on to what? You check to be sure everything is correct. Like I said, 600 is what we have, which is a confirmation that we are correct. The next thing is to go to your RoyalQ and you save these settings just how we did it for Magic 1. Everything you have here on Magic 5 is what you have to duplicate in your RoyalQ and you name it. So you don't get yourself confused. I said that Magic 5 is the best settings. Why? Because by the time it buys the first buy amount, first to the fourth call, 50% is already used on those positions. So 50% of your capital, which is $300, will be used to buy those positions. While the remaining 50% will be distributed from the fifth call downward. That is why Magic 5 is the best. So if you have a capital that can cover for Magic 5 settings, please make use of Magic 5 settings. It is the best. You are enjoying the settings. So this is how you make use of the Magic 1, RQTMI Magic 1, Magic 5, and Magic 3 settings, which is the default settings. Now we have the RQTMI Bull Tactics Category 1 and Bull Tactics Category 2. Please pay attention. And I'll also show you guys how you can maximize profit when you combine both together, when you combine the Bull Tactics and the default settings together to trade. So for the Bull Tactics Category 1, what are the conditions? The conditions that you need to understand before you agree to use the settings is that for Bull Tactics Category 1, you don't make money downtrend. You only make money uptrend. You don't make money downtrend. You only make money uptrend. But when it sells, whatever your whole position take profit ratio is, which is your final take profit, if your final take profit is 5%, and your $500 is used to trade with this Bull Tactics Category 1, it means that you will make 5% of $500. That is 5% of your 100% trading capital, which is 500. That is how Bull Tactics Category 1 works. You don't make money downtrend, you only make money uptrend, but when it sells, whatever your take profit is what it will make for you when it sells. And it will give you whatever take profit is used of your 100% capital. So this is for the Bull Tactics Category 1. But how do we make use of this Bull Tactics Category 1? Pay attention. Please keep dropping your questions. I am going to attend to all those questions one after the other. For the Bull Tactics Category 1, using Magic 5 for an example, We don't want the robot to buy the fifth call, only from the first to the fourth call plus the first buy. So from the fifth call, it will not buy. It will only stop at the fourth call. But before we do this, when we are saving the settings, ensure you change your fifth call margin call drop to 50%. You edit. You can have two settings, one for bull, one for default. So you just, I like keeping mine simple. So I have two settings. If it's for bull 30, I'll load for bull 30 settings. For default setting, I'll load for default settings. Or you can as well edit. Use one settings whenever you want to use settings, you edit based on your choice. But for bull 30 category 1, when you want to trade, ensure the fifth call margin call drop is edited to 50%. Why? Because it will be very difficult for a coin to go deep by 50%. So you stop it from buying the fifth call by doing this. Then the leftover capital, the capital that is supposed to be used to buy this fifth call downward, will be used as manual replenishment. And remember, I said anything that goes into the first to the fourth call, it takes it as a single entity. So whatever capital you use to do your manual buy, it will be added to those positions. So when it sells, it will sell everything together as one. The question now is, how do we now easily calculate the leftover capital? Simple. There's a little math you're supposed to do here. The easiest way to go about this is to add up the first to the fourth call, which is 1.5 plus 5.8 plus 1.5 plus 5.8. Now let's do the math together. 1.5 plus 5.8 plus 1.5 plus 5.8. It will give you 14.6. You add plus 1, 14 points. 1.5 plus 5.8 plus 1.5 plus 5.8. 14.6. Always make sure you add plus 1, which is 15.6, which is the first buy. Now, 15.6 multiply by the first buy amount again, which is 20. 15.6 multiplied by 20 will be 312. Now, 312 is the amount that will be allocated on the first buy, the first to the fourth call. This is what it means. So since you now know the amount to be used to buy the first buy, first to the fourth call, you just simply say 600 minus 312, which is your total capital on that trade. 288. So this means 288 will be your leftover capital. And that is what you are using to do your manual replenishment. So once your trade picks up, and how you know your trade has picked up is you'll see that it has bought the first buy amount. And on the position amount, you see USD there showing either 20 or 15, depending on the settings you are using. But as long as it has bought the first buy amount, it shows that your trade is up and running. That is the time you do your manual replenishment. But you cannot do manual replenishment if the trade has not peaked. Let's say you're using Signal and you're using preset, it has not peaked, you have to wait. Once it peaks, whether it has bought the first buy, the first call, second call, it doesn't matter. As long as it has peaked, you can go ahead and do your manual replenishment or manual buy. And how do you do your manual replenishment or manual buy? Let me quickly show you guys how to do that. Okay, I don't trade with this account. Let me see. Okay. Now, let's say it has bought the first buy, meaning your trade have started running, the next thing to do your manual replenishment is to tap on buy. You can see buy. Here we have buy here. You tap on buy. Then you tap on market price. Once you tap on market price, it will be highlighted, meaning it has been selected. Make sure you tap on it. Don't put the amount here. That is wrong. Tap on market price, and then you insert the amount on the next column down. Hello, Coach Walt. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you. It was breaking. I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay, can you hear me now, right?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, let me share my screen again. Yeah, so I was saying, ensure you tap on market price for Android users. For iPhone users, by default, market price is already selected. So all you need to do is to insert the capital here, which is 288. And you confirm. That is how you do your manual buy or manual replenishment. I hope this is well understood. Now let's move on to the template. So this is for Bull Tactics category 1. For Bull Tactics category 2, the conditions for Bull Tactics category 2 is that you make money downtrend to a certain level, and which is you make money downtrend to margin call 10. Let me highlight this very well. You make money downtrend to margin call 10. From the 11th call, it won't buy, meaning that you are going to stop the robot from buying the 11th call. So you edit it, and you edit the whatever you have on 11th call, margin call drop to 50%. While the remaining leftover capital that will be used to buy the 11th call down to the 24th call for margin 5 will be used as what? Manual buy, which is manual replenishment. So the same process we use to calculate for Bull Tactics category 1 to calculate the leftover capital is what we are also going to do for Bull Tactics category 2. So what we do here is to add up the first to the 10th call. The first to the 10th call, you add everything, whatever I get plus 1, whatever I get multiplied by first by, which is 20. And whatever you get, you say 600 minus whatever you get here. And the leftover capital is what you now use to do your manual buy or manual replenishment. This is for Bull Tactics category 2. I hope it is clear. Now let's move on to Magic 3. How do you make use of this Bull Tactics category 1 and 2 for Magic 3? For Magic 3, you cannot use Bull Tactics category 2. You can only use Bull Tactics category 1 for Magic 3. Yes. For Magic 3, you cannot use Bull Tactics category 2. You can only use Bull Tactics category 1. But how do you make use of Bull Tactics category 1? You stop it from buying the second call downward. So meaning that this 5% will be edited to 50%. You only leave it to buy the first call. And how do you calculate your leftover capital? This is it. You go to the first call, you have 2.3 plus 1 multiplied by first buy, which is 15 for Magic 3. Remember, first buy for Magic 3 is 15. So 2.3 plus 1. 2.3 plus 1. We give 3.3. 3.3 multiplied by first buy, which is 15, 49.5. So 200 minus 49.5, about 0.5, and use your 150 to your manual replenishment. And if you are compounding, whatever you want to compound should be added to whatever you want to use itself. Category 1, Magic 3. For Magic 1, it is the same process with Magic 5. Magic 1 works with the way I showed you guys on Magic 5. So Magic 1 can be used with both that is category 1 and both that is category 2. Just the same way for Magic 5, you stop it from buying the 5th card from both that is category 1, and for both that is category 2, you stop it from buying the 11th card. This is how the both that is category 1 and 2 works. And remember, I said I will show you guys how to maximize your profits by combining both strategy. For the default settings, let's say, for example, you are trading 3 coins. 2 can be on RQTMI default settings, and 1 can be on the bull that is category 1. Bull that is category 1, not 2. Bull that is category 1. So 3 coins being traded, 2 should be on default settings, making you money uptrend and downtrend, while 1 can be or should be on bull that is category 1. If you want to go more aggressive, I repeat, if you want to go more aggressive, you can say 2 on bull that is category 1 and 1 on default settings. But remember the conditions for bull that is, it all depends on how patient you are and your understanding. That is if you're going more aggressive. If you are trading 4 coins, you can say 2 on default and 2 on bull that is category 1. If you are trading 5 coins, you can say 3 on default and 2 on bull. It all depends on you. It all depends on you. So this is how you can maximize your profit by combining both together. I hope this is well understood. Please, I am about to stop here to take your questions and answer your questions. You can ask your questions, please feel free, ask your questions. Remember, the more you ask questions, the more you understand the business. So please ask questions, feel free, ask your question while I take a look at them one after the other and answer them. Okay, I can see some people have already dropped their questions. So let me read through and see what we have here. Okay, King Tony, I've already answered the question. You said the template does not allow you edits. Please ensure you are tapping on the right column to edit. Please, can we have the soft copy? Yes, please, you can. Just request for the soft copy with you. King Mohammed Al-Amin said, I buy in callback. Stand the buy in callback. Okay, give me a second, please. For the buy in callback, remember I said this. Let's say, for example, your trade is supposed to be 5%. It bought $2. The price of the coin was, when it bought a coin that the price is $2 with $50, it means that 50 divided by 2 will give you how many units? Let me see. Because I don't know maths again, no. So, but 50 divided by 2 will give you 25 units. So 25 units is what you get with your $50 because the price of the coin is so for $2, okay, at $2. So it means you get 25 units of that coin. Remember, cryptocurrencies are being sold in units. In units, yes, they are sold in units. So it will give you 25 units of that coin. So by the time the price goes up by 5%, 5%, making you, that is, the price goes up by $2.01, it will sell. And when it is selling, it will give you what was used to buy, which is $50. But in this case, the buy-in callback means by the time the price goes more than that 5%, please, I hope King Mohammed is listening to what I'm saying. I hope King Mohammed is still with us. Let me be sure he's still with us so that, okay. Please give me a second. So by the time the price goes above the 5% it is supposed to sell, the robot will not sell. It will be holding on to the position until there is, was it buying callback he even said, or let me be sure I'm answering the right question. Hold on, please. Let me be sure I am answering it. Okay, buy-in callback. Sorry, I was answering the whole position take profit callback. Sorry, please. So for the buy-in callback, please don't mind me. I made a mistake. So let me answer this question, please. For the buy-in callback, it controls how it buys the margin call drop. The margin call drop. Now, take a look at it. It has to drop by, for Magic 3, the price has to drop by -1% before it will buy the first call. Again, before it will buy the second call, it has to drop by -5% before it will buy the second call. So now this buy-in callback means, let's say, for example, the price was $2. It was $2 and it dropped down by 1%. 1% drop of $2, it will buy the first buy. But before it will buy the first buy, they have to be a pullback of the price. Let's say it went to 2 points. Let me just use this for example, 2.15. They have to be a pullback of 0.01% of 2.15 before it will now trigger and buy the first call. They have to be a callback, just the same way I talked about the whole position take profit callback. They have to be a callback of the price, a drop in the price again before it will now trigger and buy the first call. Same thing happens to second call, third call, and fourth call. I don't know if this is understood, please. I don't know if what I said makes sense. Is this understood? Is this understood? King Mohammed, I hope you are here and you can hear me clearly. Okay, so let me check other questions here. Like if you have $200, you can trade 2 coins with $200. See Magic 3, 100 per coin. Take notes. Okay. What's your buy-in amount if you can't subtract in Magic 3? Buy-in amount. What is your first buy-in amount if you can't subtract? First buy-in amount still remains the same thing you have on the template. You don't touch that. All you just need to do is to put the amount without subtracting first buy on the remark on Magic 3. First buy is already there by default, which is 15. So use 15 as the first buy amount. Take notes, King Mohammed. Please, why is it that sometimes if you don't enable the AI margin call, it will not buy all the margin call? The price needs to drop down. It has, just like what I explained here. Let's say you're using Magic 3. You can see Magic 3. The price needs to drop down by 1%, -1% before it buys the first call. It has to drop down again by -5%. So if it doesn't drop down by -5%, it will not buy. It has to drop. This is the instruction given to the robot. RoyalQ is a semi-automated bot or semi-automated bot. So the instruction given to the robot is what it will use to trade for you. So it will never buy until these conditions are being met before it will now trigger and buy. Take notes. Okay. If you use the bull tactics and prevent it from activating the fifth margin call and the price goes against you, wouldn't you have more floating loss? That is a condition, please. If you're okay with that, you make use of it. That is a condition. Okay. So if it goes against you, robots will not do anything. To wait patiently. Remember, you have other 2 coins. If you're trading 3 coins on default settings, this bull tactics, why we call it bull tactics, is for bull season. Because in the bull season, when it fully picks up, the bull season has not really picked up yet because we are still expecting another interest rate cut down, and that should be on the 7th of November of next month. Okay, so we are still trying to get into the bull run fully. Yes, although it has been the first interest rate has been cut down, but we still need more interest rate to be cut down. So the next interest rate cut down should be on the 7th of November. That's next month. Okay, so once the bull run officially picks up, you see how the market will go crazy. So coins will sell faster. Coins will always sell faster. So the profit loss will not be too huge. You get? So you're enjoying this more on the bottom, but you can still use it now. It all depends on you, how patient you are. So that's just it. I hope it is well understood. If you have, I've answered this question. Bull test category 1, category 4. Okay, please can you quickly go over the bull tactics category 1 for RQTMI strategy settings 3? Okay, on how many trades do you use bull tactics category 2? You said if one is trading 3 coins. Yes, I said this. Why? Because if you want to maximize your profits, you have 3 trades running on Magic 3. On Magic 3. 2 should be on default settings, and 1 should be on bull tactics category 1, not 2. But it is only when you want to trade just bull tactics and it's okay, you want to use bull tactics category 2 so that to make your money downtrend to a certain level while you do your manual replenishment with the remaining capital, leftover capital. But if you are sticking to this way I am showing you guys on how to maximize your profit, ensure you are using bull tactics category 1, not bull tactics category 2, because you already have 2 trades running on default settings. So there's no need, it doesn't make any sense to use bull tactics category 2. So use bull tactics category 1. If you are trading 3 coins on Magic 3. And remember, for Magic 3, you cannot use bull tactics category 2, only bull tactics category 1. And you stop it from buying the second call. And you edit the 5th call to 50%. And you calculate your leftover capital. I hope it's clear. I hope it's clear. When the bull run is full swing, do we use both the default? It all depends on you. It's up to you. It is up to you. It is up to you. Yes, King Mohammed, yes, it all depends on you. It all depends on you. So do we have any other questions? Do we have any other questions? Please, before we call it a night, do we have any other question? Do we have any other question? I believe I've been able to answer all the questions. Just keep it simple, understand the strategy, follow simple instructions, and remain patient. That is it. So since there are no other questions for now, I think I'll have to end the session now. So thank you guys for your time. Thank you so much for listening. We normally do this every Fridays. Please always ensure your team members are here to learn. Bring them along with you. While you're learning, they are also learning. This is a skill set you're learning. Once you get a hold of how all this thing works, you have the right understanding, then you don't have any other problem because you can make as much as you can. You cannot, see, one thing people don't understand is you can have the money, but if you fail to understand the business and you don't have the skills, you cannot make the kind of money you expect to make. So yes, while you're having the trading capital, always ensure you understand the business, attend Zoom sessions, watch recordings. It is something that once you learn, it is for life. It is for life. Nobody can take it away from you. So why don't you want to pay that price by learning and understanding the business? This is not magic we're doing here. It is a skill set you're learning. So we have another session on Sunday. We don't have a session tomorrow. We have a session on Sunday, and Sunday is for learning how to analyze yourself. If you want to learn how to analyze pictures yourself without depending on signals, you can't compare somebody who depends on signal and somebody who knows how to analyze. Those who knows how to analyze have more edge and they can make more money than those who are depending on signals or trading without analysis. So please, if you are interested in learning how you can start to pick trade yourself, ensure you don't miss our Sunday night session. Very, very important. So bring in your team members as well so that they can come and learn with you. Thank you so much once again. See you same time on Sunday, 9 p.m. Bye-bye from this side, everybody. Good night.